Many of you know that stretching isn't the solution. So what is the solution? You might think that it's strength, stability, or mobilization that you need. But if you're dealing with long-term back pain for over 3 weeks, I'm here to tell you there's still one more piece to this puzzle. Without this, no amount of strengthening, stabilizing, or mobilization will work. If you're watching this video, you probably are still searching for a permanent solution for your back pain. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am, then exactly what you can do today to solve this problem for good, without surgery, painkillers, or cutting out any of the activities that you love. When I was 25, I learned that I had spondylolisthesis. Doctors told me to stop training and lifting because of my herniated disc and broken spine, which had shifted forward in space. But I wasn't ready to accept that fate. I took matters into my own hands and read all the books, watched all the videos, saw all the specialists, and searched far and wide for solutions. I failed many times before finally resolving it for good. So today I'm here to tell you full recovery and beyond is possible. The best part is that it's 100% up to you. If you're experiencing back pain for the first time, maybe it's been a few years, or perhaps even decades. Stay tuned for the missing piece of the puzzle, and this might be the very start of an amazing new chapter in your life. One of the best videos out there that I've seen on low back pain is by Jeremy Ethier and Dr. Stuart McGill. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you check it out as they dispel the myth of stretching and offer ways to stabilize and mobilize instead. They recommend the cat-cow for about 7 to 8 repetitions to reduce spinal friction, the psoas stretch, the hip airplane, and standing up every 30 or 40 seconds or so to put your arms overhead to break up the stress of sitting. This video will build off these points, explain which one of these work, and add the necessary context to ensure that these exercises work for you, and add just one more missing piece. It takes about 5 minutes a day. This will really help you get rid of your back pain for good. When we leverage insights from neuroscience, biomechanics, posture, and pain science, I've found that not only does it accelerate your recovery, but it also makes it last. Before we go any further, we need to go over a key concept that answers the question, why are you stuck in this pain? We have millions of miles of nerves in the body, but guess how many of them are responsible for triggering pain that you're feeling currently? 0. When we feel pain, it's a sign that our postural alignment is off, triggering our nerves to signal that pain. It's not just the nerves though. Dysfunctional postural alignment, it creates painful compression in our tissues, creating inflammation and increasingly narrows the spaces through which the nerves can travel. What's more is that this immediately signals a stress response to your brain, and you go into a fight or flight. In a way, it's a form of trauma where this posture is stored in your body's memory, the autonomic nervous system. That's why you can have periods of 0 back pain, then all of a sudden it comes back. Pay attention the next time this happens, and you'll often notice that not too far off in time, there's been feelings of stress, of fight or flight, of rushing, like anxiety. Because the nervous system is so critical to the back pain equation, we need a way to access it. There is a way. We do this by controlling our breathing. Breathing is a magical thing. It's the very first movement that all of us has ever done in our lives. You may not think of it as a movement, but it certainly is, and it's perhaps the most important and fundamental one. Harnessing your breathing is key to finally getting rid of your back pain and reaching your peak performances. Breathing is both a conscious and unconscious activity. By conscious, what I mean is you can control the way that you breathe. You can breathe quickly, like this for example. You can breathe slowly. You can breathe with your nose or just your mouth. And you can also vary the time in which you spend in each phase. This is important. We'll be coming back to that. On the other hand, breathing is also an unconscious activity. When you're born, you weren't taught how to breathe. Our system just performs it without having us to think consciously about how we're doing that. Even if you were in a coma, you could continue to breathe. And so because of this unconscious property of our breath, controlling our breathing is a powerful gateway to that unconscious side of ourselves, and perhaps the only one we can actively control. Let's do it together. Sit comfortably in your chair. You want to breathe in 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. And then you exhale long and completely through your mouth with pursed lips, like blowing out birthday candles. Count out all 5 seconds. Go until you can feel your obliques, which are the abs on your side, start to lock in. At the same time, you want to prevent the front abs from contracting. The side abs are where the magic is, and when you've got those, it means that the rib cage is connected with the pelvis again, which places the diaphragm in perfect position to do its pump action the way it was designed. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I plan to post weekly videos to help you leverage the latest science to maximize your longevity and reach your peak potential. A key concept, the main thing holding you back, is to be able to restore the freedom again inside of that painful area in the back. It's not as simple as doing mobility exercises. If you have a tight lower back and start hammering out cat-cows or cobras, the majority of that movement is likely not to come from the lower spine as we would like. So the following 3 exercises are designed to get back your movement freedom and train stability and mobility all at once. This first exercise is called a quadruped with a ball between the knees. Stuart McGill and Jeremy talk about doing the cat-cow for about 7 seconds without hitting end ranges. While this can certainly help more than stretching will, without the proper alignment and breathing, the results are still a hit or miss in my opinion. I'll walk you through the quadruped, but I'll take you through each of the points that you need to make sure that are in place so that alignment is optimal. And then we're going to be breathing overlaid on top of the movement, which is going to make all of the difference. So you're going to need a block, just a mat, and some floor space. When you're in a quadruped, your shoulder should be right over the wrist. Hip should be right over the knees. Okay. Keep a long spine. Think about elongating, somebody pulling you from the base of the skull and the base of the tailbone at the same time. Here, you're going to place this block right between the knee. Apply gentle pressure through the knees, and that's going to posteriorly tuck your pelvis. I'll do it again. You want to gently press into the floor with your knees, and that's going to tuck your pelvis. And now breathe with me. Inhale through your nose gently for about 4 seconds. And exhale through your mouth, long and relaxed but complete. So do this for about 4 to 5 breath cycles for about 2 sets. This second stretch is for the psoas or the hip flexor. While this stretch is suggested in a standing position, I find that it's difficult to ensure that you aren't stuck in an anteriorly tilted posture and therefore end up extending your back. So it just feeds into the same problem. The good news is that there's a relatively simple modification you can make. Just place that knee down onto the floor in what's called a half kneeling position. To give you some context, I personally still use this variation over the standing one, and I squat close to 500 pounds pain-free. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have proper alignment. Your head right on top of the hips. Keep your hips right on top of the knees. Okay? On the front side leg, make sure that your knee is on top of the ankle. When viewed from the front, make sure that your right knee is tracking right over that front ankle. I like to place my hand on my ilium. This is the pelvis bone with a gentle push inwards. All you're gonna do is tuck your pelvis. From this position, you're gonna take that front knee and gently push it over that front ankle, okay? Think of it like a left turn of your pelvis without turning your whole body. You're gonna keep the rest of your body the same and just turn your pelvis. You should feel that hip flexor light up right away. Just gently breathe in this position. Doing this actually kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You not only get the hip flexor to lengthen, but you do it in a way that makes it impossible to cheat, and the rotation works on the exact movement that is being trained in the hip airplanes, just in a simpler and perhaps safer way. Safe, simple, and easy means you'll be able to be more consistent and maximizes your chances of recovery. This third exercise is called the bridge with overhead reach. Now, placing the arms overhead also places more demand on your spine. So if you're restricted, this will likely lead you to arch your low back excessively, which is counterproductive. You want to make sure that your upper body mobility is not limiting you at your lower spine. So do it laying down instead. Place the yoga block between the knees, with your feet flat on the floor. First step here is to feel 3 points of contact on your feet. Your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. Gently press into the floor with all 3 points on both feet and pull towards your hips until you feel the hamstrings engage. They're like reins on the pelvis. They're going to be able to influence the pelvis's position. Use that rein to pull the pelvis into a posterior tilt. Your belt line should curl gently towards your chin, just about 1 inch off the floor. Now take your arms and you want to reach it to the ceiling, okay? And gently go towards a 30 to 45 degree angle. Okay? The key thing to keep in mind is as you're reaching, make sure that your rib cage doesn't flare like that. Keep your rib cage down with the posterior tilt of the pelvis. Now exhale, just like we've been practicing. The fourth point is about sitting-related stresses. Dr. McGill recommends placing your arms over your head and breaking up sitting periodically. But did you know that while sitting too much has been correlated with low back pain and disease, so too has too much standing? We can conclude it's not sitting or standing that's the problem. What matters much more is the way that we choose to sit or stand. The good news is that there's a relatively simple way to do this, and this has changed so many people's lives, making it possible to sit for long meetings, assignments, or driving in your car, to be able to stand without having these shocks shooting down your legs. You just need to learn how to sit correctly in a way that ensures optimal alignment. Remember, posture is an output of multiple sensory inputs, not just visual, so you can't just rely on what things look like in a mirror. You need to be able to feel certain things so that they can signal back to your brain you're in the right position. So I'll be going over exactly what those references are next. Start by grounding yourself at the sit bones. These are also called the ischial tuberosities as your natural support points. Then you want to line up these 3 essential points: the sphenoid, which is right behind the nose, the sternum, which is right at the solar plexus, right above it, and the sacrum, which is your tailbone. This core alignment allows the body to function as designed, releasing tension in the neck, back, hips, and shoulders. So rather than avoiding sitting altogether, this technique helps you sit as your body was designed to. The result is better comfort, stability, and reduced strain. I've also made a longer video on this topic, so just check it out over here or here, wherever it is. I cover this topic in length and also teach you how to do this while you stand and move as well. So we cover the quadruped, the hip flexor stretch, the bridge with overhead reach, and how to sit pain-free. In terms of frequency, the general rule of thumb is you want to keep the pain down to a 2, take care of itself over a short to medium term period. It really depends how bad the pain is. So if you're at a 7 or 8 out of 10, you can do this up to like 3 to 5 times a day. If you're at a 4 or 5 out of 10, you can do these exercises until you bring these things down to a 2. So there's no one size fits all. And so that's why I'm working on a guided course to help you understand your back pain in detail, to help you become the experts of your own body. And if you have any questions about the exercises or anything else, make sure to leave it down in the comments below and I'll answer every question. Until then, see you on the next one.